Importance of jihad, misconceptions and clarifications. In order to avoid misunderstandings about specific Quranic verses that order Muslims to fight unbelievers, the term jihad, i.e., struggle in Allah's way, 1, should be clarified. While jihad is generally understood by the Western world as a physical war against non-Muslims, and hence many non-Muslims mistakenly think that Islam encourages terrorism, the root of the word jihad is jahd, which means the act of using all resources to accomplish a task. In the context of Islam, jihad stands for the act of learning orders related to faith, and then living according to them and conveying them to others. The act of enjoining goodness and forbidding evil deeds, fighting the evil desires of soul as well as the enemies of Islam. Point 2. In light of the related Quranic verses, jihad can be classified into different categorizes, which are explained next. Jihad against evil or unlawful desires of soul. A Muslim is said to perform a type of jihad if she struggles against his evil or unlawful desires, thereby being away from any kind of sinful deeds. Similarly, being steadfast, rather than being reluctant, in practicing Islam in all aspects of life can also be viewed as jihad. In this regard, one of the related hadiths states that the mujahid, i.e., a Muslim who performs jihad, is the one who strives against his own soul. 3. Jihad against ignorance and evil deeds of others. Muslims who preach Islam warn unbelievers and sinners through the Quran and hadiths, and react against evil deeds physically, as well as intellectually, i.e. through speech and or writings, are also considered to be mujahid. The following verse and the hadith emphasize the importance of this type of jihad. So do not obey the disbelievers, and strive against them with the Quran, a great striving, for indeed, among the greatest types of jihad is a just statement before a tyrannical ruler. 5. 1 https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/jihad to the Quran, 941, 25:52, 29:69, 9:73 3 Tirmidhi, Book 22, Hadith 3, for the Quran, 25:52 5 Tirmidhi, Book 33, Hadith 17. Jihad against the enemies of Islam/Muslims. Physical fight. Being involved in a physical fight against unbelievers during specific circumstances is also a type of jihad. The Quran contains a number of verses that indicate that this type of jihad is one of the crucial obligations for Muslims. A few of those verses are listed below. O you who have believed, what is the matter with you that, when you are told to go forth in the cause of Allah, you adhere heavily to the earth? Are you satisfied with the life of this world rather than the hereafter? But what is the enjoyment of worldly life compared to the hereafter except a very little? 6 Go forth, whether light or heavy, and strive with your wealth and your lives in the cause of Allah. That is better for you, if you only knew. 7 O you who have believed, shall I guide you to a transaction that will save you from a painful punishment? It is that, you believe in Allah and His Messenger and strive in the cause of Allah, with your wealth and your lives. That is best for you, if you should know. 8. Apparently, the verses about jihad that emphasize war against non-Muslims should be understood in light of the socio-political situations of the era of Muhammad, PBUH. Particularly, the main cause of wars between the Muslims and the Meccan idolaters was that the Muslims were forced to leave their homelands for the only reason that they were practicing Islam in their homeland. In addition, the Meccan idolaters, being highly concerned about the increasing power of the believers in Mecca, which gradually demolished their economic authority in the region, were aiming to destroy the believers who immigrated to Medina. They therefore assaulted on Medina with the allied forces gathered from various tribes that were the enemies of Muslims. Note also that Muslims of Medina had to fight against several tribes in order to not be wiped out from the Arabic region. The point is that the verses about jihad were revealed at the time when war was inevitable for the spread of Islam. Therefore, in the 21st century, where there is no systematic open war against Islam or any other faith worldwide, understanding jihad as merely fight against non-Muslims for both individuals and nations is clearly problematic. Further, any activity that causes the injury or death of innocent people such as suicide or assassination should obviously not be considered as jihad. Therefore, the terrorist. 6 The Quran, 938 7 The Quran, 941 8 The Quran, 61:10-11. Activities carried out by various fanatic groups who declare themselves as Muslims have nothing to do with jihad. Further, jihad in the sense of war is certainly not mandatory for all Muslims. Even in the era of Muhammad, PBUH, the Quran ordered a group of Muslims to stay in their homeland so as to perform the duty of preaching Islam, and it is not for the believers to go forth to battle all at once. For there should separate from every division of them a group, remaining, to obtain understanding in the religion and warn their people when they return to them that they might be cautious. 9. As regards the circumstances of the modern era, each country has a specialized army that can be utilized for potential war or a threat coming from its enemies. Hence, in case of a war between a Muslim country and a non-Muslim country, specialized forces are required to perform the duty of jihad, rather all Muslim individuals. What is more, joining a war is mandatory only. For Muslim men, Muslim women are not expected to be involved in a war, owing to the fact that a related hadith states that women's jihad is performing pilgrimage. Point 10. Intellectual fight jihad against the enemies of Islam should also be performed intellectually, especially in the modern era, in which the world has turned into a very large village due to the advancements in technology. Examples of this type of jihad include the following: reducing the adverse impact of unbelievers who attack Islam and Muslims in their work, such as their books, articles, and through the media tools such as TV programs and internet. Jihad in this sense can be in the form of writings such as books and articles, and talks or videos published in internet, through websites, social media, etc. Creating and or supporting a Muslim media that contains tools such as TV channels, newspapers, portals, etc. Constructing and or supporting civil organizations such as political parties, associations, and foundations that enable the Muslim community of a respective country to effectively react against the advocates of unbelief. 9. The Quran, 9:122-10 Sahih Bukhari, Volume 2, Book 26. Jihad against the sovereignty of darkness in the world. The ultimate objective in Allah's way is to make Islam superior to all other religions, that is, to make the way of life prescribed in Islam dominant over the entire world, thereby saving the world from the darkness of unbelief. Fight them until there is no more fitna and until worship is acknowledged to be for Allah. But if they cease, then there is to be no aggression except against the oppressors. 11. It is He who sent His messenger with guidance and the religion of truth to manifest it over all religion, although those who associate others with Allah dislike it. 12. Since Islam is the only truth in terms of faith, the way to live the individual and social life in a true way is possible only with Islam. In this context, jihad is a responsibility that aims to make the truth dominant in the entire world with acceptable tools and methods determined by one's circumstances. The Quran states that jihad with wealth and lives is one of the deeds that prevent Muslims from the punishment in the hereafter. Point 13. According to the Quran, those who perform jihad with lives are superior to those who do not attend war without any acceptable excuse. 14. And have the highest rank in the sight of Allah. 15. The true Muslims are defined as those who are strong in their belief in Allah and His messenger, and strive in the way of Allah with their wealth and lives. Point 16. In today's world, performing jihad through lives and wealth can be interpreted as the act of utilizing all resources in Allah's way, thereby contributing to the goal of making Islam dominant in one's society as well as in the entire world. In this regard, Muslims are required to perform jihad with their utmost effort from the time of maturity until death, while performing their responsibilities in different dimensions of life such as education, profession, and family. The consequence of forsaking jihad. It is important to emphasize that escaping jihad is one of the attributes of hypocrites. The Quran reproaches the attitudes of the hypocrites when they were informed of the verses that 11. The Quran, 2:193-12 The Quran, 61:913 The Quran, 61:10-1114 The Quran, 4:95-15 The Quran, 920. 16. The Quran, 49:15. Ordered the Muslim community in Medina to fight against the Meccan idolaters. Being unaware that Allah knows what they hide in their hearts, the hypocrites were making up excuses to convince the believers that they were not ready for the war, and that He might make evident those who are hypocrites. For it was said to them, Come, fight in the way of Allah, or, at least, defend. They said, if we had known there would be fighting, we would have followed you. They were nearer to disbelief that day than to faith, saying with their mouths what was not in their hearts. And Allah is most knowing of what they conceal. 17. Escaping jihad for Muslims can also include attitudes such as not being involved in any activity in the way of Allah, not constantly improving one's practice of Islam in all aspects of life, and not being diligent about avoiding sins. Such attitudes can also be viewed as the attributes of the hypocrites who were not as passionate as the Muslims in their worships. 4. Instance, when the hypocrites prepared for the prayer, they were moving reluctantly, and they did not remember Allah. Often. Point 18. Further, Muslims who don't love jihad as much as they love their wives, sons, and dwellings are condemned in the Quran, which implies that such Muslims will be deprived of the guidance of Allah. 19. 17. The Quran, 3:167.